Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Star Wars Meg and welcome to today's Mandalorian Season 2 update. We have a lot of things to get through in today's video. We're going to be talking about Hayden Christensen potentially being in the Mandalorian Season 2. We're going to be talking about an article by Esquire that came out. We're going to look at some news from some of the cast from Mandalorian Season 2, and then we're going to finish off by talking about some details of the confirmed characters. Before we get into today's video, guys, please hit like on this video if you enjoy it, leave a comment down below, hit subscribe on my channel, do all that good stuff down below. Also, my Patreon link is in the description. So let's start with this first article about Hayden Christensen, which comes from Inverse. So it says, although there has not been an official announcement from Disney or Lucasfilm, all signs suggest that the Season 2 of The Mandalorian will feature Rosario Dawson in live action as Ahsoka Tano, known for involvement in the Clone Wars and in Rebels. Ahsoka is technically the only Jedi trained by Anakin Skywalker, the Chosen One, aka Darth Vader. At the time of The Mandalorian, Anakin has been dead for more than 5 years, but there's every reason to believe that Hayden Christensen as Anakin will return in The Mandalorian Season 2. So then Inverse go on to explain the 3 ways that they believe that Anakin could appear in Season 2 of The Mandalorian. So let's look at these now. The first one is Anakin could appear as a Force ghost. At the end of Return of the Jedi, we see Anakin smiling as a Force ghost looking at Luke. Everything about Star Wars canon tells us these ghosts all spoke to Luke again. Yoda visited Luke in The Last Jedi, and one in-canon book, and I think they're talking about the Rise of Skywalker, claims that Anakin's ghost visited Luke sometime in the post-Return of the Jedi era, so after Episode 6. The Mandalorian only takes place 5 years after Return of the Jedi, 9 ABY in the conventional Star Wars dating system. Force ghosts tend to transcend time and space, but conventionally speaking, it seems reasonable that Anakin was still chatting to people 5 years after he came back as a ghost. Obi-Wan's ghost was still hanging out with Luke 4 years after he died, and the spirits of several Jedi, including Anakin, joined Rey in 35 ABY in the Rise of Skywalker. So Anakin's ghost is still around. If he knows anything about Baby Yoda or wants to chat with Ahsoka about all their unfinished business, it seems super reasonable he would do so. Plus, if Hayden looks a little bit older as a ghost than in the 2004 special edition of Return of the Jedi ending, nobody's going to mind. Ghosts can look however they want. So essentially, this article is stating that because there's a link between Anakin and Ahsoka, and we're probably going to get Ahsoka in Season 2, then there might be a link between Anakin and Baby Yoda, and therefore we might get Anakin in Season 2 of The Mandalorian. While I think this is a little bit unlikely, and if any allusion is made to Anakin or Darth Vader, it will be at most a voice, but most likely just a reference by Ahsoka. It is slightly possible, I guess, that we will get Hayden Christensen. And by slightly, I mean a tiny chance, but I guess we can hope. It was kind of like with the Rise of Skywalker when a lot of YouTubers were speculating that Hayden Christensen would return to reprise his role as Anakin in Episode 9, and everyone was like, no, it's not possible, but a lot of hopefuls out there were saying that it would be possible. We did actually get a voice of him, so I guess any sort of cameo or allusion to Anakin would be a little Easter egg for Star Wars fans, and specifically prequels fans. So let's look at their second theory about how Anakin could pop up. So they say that Anakin could return in a flashback. Star Wars prequel actor Temuera Morrison, who played Jango Fett in Attack of the Clones, is rumoured to appear in Mandalorian Season 2 to play Boba Fett. Some people have their money on the idea that he could be playing Captain Rex, a clone trooper who served with both Anakin and Ahsoka in the Clone Wars. If that's true, Anakin could appear in some kind of flashback with any of these characters. So in this one, they're basically alluding to the Clone Wars and again making the link between Ahsoka and Anakin, and therefore we would get him in a flashback. They're basically just trying to hopefully play out this idea that because Ahsoka was trained by Anakin once upon a time and Anakin's Force ghost exists in this timeline after Return of the Jedi, we could get some kind of allusion to him, whether that's a physical cameo, a voice cameo, a mention or whatever. I don't think we're going to see him, but again, I could be wrong. And please don't get me wrong here. I would love to see Anakin return. Of course I would. I think most fans would love that kind of an Easter egg because it's very unexpected. But let's be honest, it's quite unlikely. So now Inverse's third theory involves Vader coming back in a flashback. And they say that Hayden Christensen wore the Darth Vader costume for several shots in Revenge of the Sith. From a canonical point of view, if there's a flashback involving Baby Yoda in the years just following the Clone Wars, Vader could totally appear. If he does, it would make sense for the person in the costume to be played by Hayden. If Baby Yoda was somehow hidden from the Emperor and Vader after Order 66, that fact has to be accounted for at some point. And because one of Vader's primary jobs was to hunt down and destroy all the remaining Jedi, it seems very likely at some point he was after Baby Yoda. If a flashback exists where Vader is chasing down Baby Yoda, it could go a long way towards explaining why Vader didn't take out Baby Yoda in the first place. Did someone stop him, or did Vader spare Baby Yoda by choice? Now, while I discount the idea that we're going to see Vader in The Mandalorian Season 2, I do not discredit this theory for its attempt to link and piece together the events of Return of the Jedi and the existence of Baby Yoda. The child is apparently 50 years old, which does mean that he existed in Vader's timeline, which of course links Baby Yoda to the Emperor. And in case you don't know about the Emperor Baby Yoda theory, I have a whole video on it on my channel, and I've mentioned it endless times in the past week when I've been doing these updates. But one more time, just to reiterate the point, I think Palpatine cloned Yoda in his attempt to overcome death, his potential death. Palpatine was seeking a way to clone himself and to force transfer using Force essence, so that when he died he could just clone himself, and I think Baby Yoda is the key to all of this. So to conclude that segment, I don't think we're going to see Vader or Anakin. There will be allusions to him, I'm sure. I think Ahsoka, if she's going to show up in Mandalorian Season 2, she's going to say a piece about him or mention Vader. We might get a few little hints and Easter eggs here and there. But if I'm honest, I don't think we're going to see Hayden Christensen as Anakin in the flesh. But if we do, I'm going to be hyped for that, as I'm sure all of you are. So let's move on to our second article. And this one involves Carl Weathers, and it says that he's excited for Season 2 of The Mandalorian. So let me read this to you. It says, in less than 2 months, The Mandalorian will return to Disney for the next chapter in the story of Din Djarin and the unnamed child, aka Baby Yoda. Of course, Pedro Pascal's bounty hunter and his pint-sized travel buddy aren't the only ones coming back. Carl Weathers is also returning as Greef Karga, and following Lucasfilm's announcement of the new season's premiere date, the actor shared his enthusiasm for the new episodes. Greef Karga was introduced as the leader of the Bounty Hunter Guild that gave the title character his targets. Karga and the Mando had a somewhat rocky relationship throughout the show's first season, but by the finale the two once again became allies. The last time we saw Karga, he was sticking around Navarro, while the Mandalorian left to find the child's family. Additionally, he took on Gina Carano's Cara Dune as his new enforcer. Carano is also expected to come back for the new episodes as well. Weathers also took on some extra behind-the-scenes work for The Mandalorian's second season. In addition to reprising his role as Karga, he sat in the director's chair for one of the upcoming episodes. So that's really cool. The guy who plays Greef Karga is going to direct a couple of episodes of Season 2. That's really awesome. Again, I don't know too much about the actor. For me, I was first introduced to him during The Mandalorian Season 1. So Season 2 is lined up to be really epic, and he's not the first actor in Season 2 to state how great the season will be. I think they're just hyping us all up so that we can get really excited for it. The final article we're going to be looking at is from Esquire, and this was in the news, and they're just recapping what we already know about The Mandalorian Season 2 with the release date, with characters that are going to return, with what we can expect in terms of the plot, that Mando is going to be looking for Baby Yoda's people and Baby Yoda's home planet as well. But also they do say something really cool here, which talks about another thing we can expect. We already knew this, and I did talk about it as well a couple of days ago in my update. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about their section which talks about, will Season 2 return to any established Star Wars locations or reintroduce any characters we've already seen in the original trilogy, the sequels or the prequels? So the primary thing that they're speaking about in this article is talking about the Gamorrean that Jon Favreau teased when he first announced there would be a Season 2 of The Mandalorian that's coming this fall. So they write, now let's revisit that bruiser of a Star Wars creature Favreau showed in his Season 2 announcement post. I know there's been a lot of Star Wars in the world recently, but think back to Star Wars Return of the Jedi. The alien in Favreau's photo is Gamorrean, the same species as the guards in Jabba the Hutt's palace. Considering the big old slug was killed in Return of the Jedi, there are only a couple of ways the Mandalorian could revisit Jabba's corner of the galaxy for Season 2. Most likely, considering the Mandalorian takes place 5 years after Return of the Jedi, Favreau could be looking to explore what happened to Jabba's criminal empire after his death. So this is something I personally have spoken about before on my channel, which is I do think we're going to see Jabba's palace again, especially if we're going to get Gamorreans as a species. I want them to expand on that species in and of itself, especially for those who are really interested in Star Wars aliens and characters in general. And I think Jabba's palace after his death is a fascinating topic. In fact, I've made a Star Wars Explained video on this, but it's only exclusive to my patrons on Patreon. Which brings me to my final point of the video. Please consider becoming a patron of mine on Patreon. There are two current tiers. There's a $2 tier which helps to support my YouTube channel. You get exclusive access to content not found here on YouTube. And for $10 a month, you get Star Wars Explained videos and more content that is not released on the YouTube platform whatsoever. So please do check that out, especially if you're interested in what happened to Jabba's palace after Return of the Jedi. I go into all the ins and outs. There's some crazy stuff that went on. So that's all I have for you guys today. I'm Star Wars Meg. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Comment down below, subscribe to my channel, check out the links in the description, and I will see you next time. Have a fantastic rest of the day, no matter where you are in the galaxy.